Yo, it's boy Marcus Morstini back with a video. Today we are talking about Delta Force Mobile. It has arrived, it is here, and this is the game that's expected to sort of compete with COD Mobile and Warzone Mobile for, I guess, the best mobile game right now. I'm gonna keep it $150 with you. Just summary off the top that this game is not even close to COD Mobile. It does look pretty good, and will definitely be able to compete with Warzone Mobile. I think that currently, it's got a pretty good base for how it plays and how it feels. There are some problems. There are definitely quite a few problems. And there are definitely some good things. So we're kind of going to dive into all of that stuff right now. I just want to sort of give my overall thoughts on the game, the modes, and what we have. And then what is some of the features of the game and things of that nature. So let's start off with the campaign. So the campaign game mode is only available on PC right now from what I've seen. I haven't downloaded every aspect of this game, but I'm pretty sure that's where it's at. So I haven't played that yet. That's the only mode I haven't played. Operation. So the operations are essentially like an extraction game mode, which is what you're seeing gameplay of right now. Now, this extraction game mode is essentially like Modern Warfare 2 2022 DMZ mode, I guess. So like you're basically dropped into the map, you're fighting AI, and you need to go get the objective, which is a safe, right? So I'm trying to get into this building to get a safe, get the items out of the safe after you crack the code, go do that for 3 safes, then scavenge up enough money to extract and leave and then complete the mission, right? So I have not played a lot of this game. I think that from what I have played is about, I don't know, the games are super insanely long. So I've got like 3+ hours played of this game, but I've only played about 6 games because every game is almost a half hour long. It's actually insane. It's I will definitely say this game has a lot of it just feels like you're playing it forever. The games aren't, it's not like a 6v6 TDM game where it's like, okay, here we are, the game's over in 5 minutes. No, these games take about 25 minutes to play for the Warfare games. And then in this, if you don't know what you're doing, which if it was up to my teammates, we would have never finished this game. They literally didn't do a single objective, right? So that's one of the problems where you're getting in here with new people who don't know what's going on. They're just kind of wandering around killing bots, right? Because you're facing AI. That being said, in this specific game mode, you're basically, once you kind of walk around the map, I guess, because there's not really a vehicle, you have to basically run everywhere. So what you see in the middle of my screen is this white bar, right? And you'll see it slowly drain the more I run, because it's like my, like if you were an actual person, like you getting tired. That's what that bar is. So it'll drain down to red, and once it hits red and then gets completely emptied, you can't run anymore. You have to wait until it gets back up to white in some degree, like a whiter version, and then you can start running again. You'll just be slowed to a walk. So it's a very interesting feature. I think that's good for this game mode, for I guess the tactical style of gameplay this is trying to achieve. I personally, I don't really have a preference. I don't think it's not like a feature, like if the game didn't have it, I would be sad. You know what I mean? It's there, it's all right, it's kind of fun, adds another layer. I do also want to talk about the AI. So there's different levels of AI, as you've already seen in this gameplay. There was your normal people, like I'm shooting right now, and then there was that guy with the red shield who I can only shoot his toes. You know what I mean? So I do like that. I think that's interesting to have that feature to sort of make it a little bit more complicated. Overall, I think the mission understanding of what you're doing in this game mode is pretty easy to understand, right? I've only played a couple of games of it and have a good grasp of what you're doing. So I think that's solid. I do think that, you're probably going to get put in here with a couple of people who don't know what they're doing. So in this game, I do all of the objectives and I get all of the points. The teammates were really just trying to keep up with me. That's what was going on. I was the first in this building, first to the safe, first to the next safe, first to the safe after that. and then first to go do the actual objective to get the coins to extract. And they just slowly follow me around the entire map that entire time. So I would expect that to be your experience as well, because that's how it was for me. There could be a chance that you get in there with somebody who actually can use their brain and read a map. So the game really does walk you through a lot of what you're supposed to do. Like, it points out, hey, look at the map for the objective. Look at this, look at that. It's very tutorial oriented, so it's very easy to understand. I think that once you sort of figure out, like, hey, you know, there's actually every one of these buildings, like, it seems like almost all the doors open. So it is like, that makes the map a lot more complex, that you can open up like almost every single door. And, you know, you actually, it's kind of difficult to find stuff when you have to open up every door like that. So that's good. I think that's a great, like, makes the game more complex, makes you do more. You gotta like focus in a little bit on where you're going and what you're doing. So I think that's great. That's a phenomenal aspect to this game, in my personal opinion. Now, that's pretty much all I've got for this mode. I'm not a big fan of this kind of thing, like shooting AI and that kind of thing. I've never been on board with that, and they're starting to add that into like console battle royale games. I would rather wait longer and play real people, personally. But yeah, that's the case with every mobile game pretty much ever made in this sort of regard. There's going to be AI, right? It's just what it is. Finding lobbies quick enough, you kind of need the AI there to do so. So I would just keep that as an expectation. Now, one of the things I've kind of learned about this game over my few playtests playing it, these settings. So I kind of compare these settings to Warzone mobile settings. They are absurdly complicated. There is a ton of settings in this game, like a metric, like, it's insane. There's an insane amount of settings. The HUD's pretty crazy, so it takes a while to get used to and to figure out how you're going to lay it out. I would pretty much just copy and paste whatever you have from your other game, do it here as well. I compare it a lot to Warzone Mobile because it has some of the same movement mechanics, right? You're sliding, you're jumping, you're proning, these different buttons for all those features. You can kind of set it up that exact same way. COD Mobile doesn't have tag sprint like that unless you have like a mythic weapon. So that tag sprint doesn't actually make you go faster, which in this game it does, which makes it more comparable to Warzone Mobile. That's why I say, like, when this game's competing with those two games, I think it's more so a competitor to Warzone Mobile than it is COD Mobile. Mainly because COD Mobile is so established and it's just infinitely better than this game. Just that's how it is. I kind of wanted to talk about the gunplay. I think the gunplay is pretty good. I feel like every gun I've picked up and used throughout my time in all these different modes, they all feel unique. They feel good. I think it's a pretty solid experience. I do think that the pistols are weird. The pistols are definitely weird. I don't know why. That's like the only class of weapon that I felt like is different, where like the pistols are, man, dude, they just feel like, I don't know, like you don't automatically start firing when you ADS. You shoot one bullet and then you have to tap fire the rest of them. So maybe that's a setting I gotta adjust. I haven't touched settings in COD Mobile in 5 years, so I don't know about like the settings like that. But if that is a setting you can change, that'd be phenomenal, because I would much rather, you know what I mean, if I gotta tap it all the time, then like it makes it much more difficult for the casual player to understand how to use that and then actually use it properly and win gunfights against other real people. Makes it very difficult with a pistol. So hopefully that's a change that can be made. You know, it's mobile gaming, right? It's not console or PC where this stuff's like, you know, it's easy, right? It's easy to understand, it's easy to do. Here, it's like, you know what I mean? You're kind of got to cater to the casual player base in that regard, right? In that specific regard. I don't want that to translate over to COD Mobile. That's kind of, you know what I mean? Get my point. That being said, overall, I enjoyed this mode. I feel like it was pretty fun. I kind of, like I said, I did all the work. These other guys were just following me around, as you probably noticed in this gameplay. So let's dive into Warfare, because I feel like this is the main mode. It's funny because I just watched Warfare in theaters. Shout out to you if you've seen that. But this mode's also called Warfare. And this is what people will be playing. I think this is the big draw to this game. And there's a reason for that. It's actually fun. I think Warfare is really good. I do think there's some problems with it, like that right there. There's an out of bounds if you try to push this other team. So right now I'm on defense and I have to defend all the objectives up top. You see where it says A, and then there's 4 green dots behind it. Those are the objectives. So I feel like you're always going to get pushed back because you simply can't push forward. You have to defend. right? And there's specialist abilities where like you can have overdrive, which you'll see me using here. There's flamethrowers and grenade launchers and all this other stuff where it's like it makes it difficult. Then you got tanks, trucks with machine guns on top. Like it gets complicated. So for the most part though, most people are just going to be actually like engaging in normal gunfights. Like there's not a lot of times where you actually run into people in those vehicles, simply because this game's new and I just haven't seen people getting in there like that. From what I've seen, you can average about 100 and something kills. 105 I think is about my average in every match. Mine's probably a little higher than that now. This game, I don't know how many I had, but I had to have at least 100 in every game I've played so far. It's definitely a game where you are in a lot of gunfights all the time. I do not like the spawn system. I feel like you can pick your spawns, right? But like earlier on, it just seems like they're spawning right on top of you the whole time. Like from off rip, you spawn at this point and they spawn right there, and then like you're in gunfights and you can't really push them back. The life count seems to be odd. Like they just, maybe if they capture the point, they get lives back for that. I don't know, but towards the end of this game, we actually got them super low on lives, and it was like, I don't know what's going on. Why are they, you know what I mean? They just keep coming. So that's a very odd system as well. But 32v32. As for how many real people are in this match, I don't know. I'm thinking 16 and 16. It's hard to tell because, you know, it's a new game. So real people don't necessarily always perform like real people, right? You gotta, it takes time because they don't know how to play the game either. So they kind of act like bots. You know what I mean? Because they're learning how to run, they're learning how to jump, do all this other stuff. But there are people in this game, like later on in this game, where I run into them and they're like actually shooting back. You know what I mean? So it just kind of depends. You know what I mean? That being said, let's talk about the vehicles. I kind of already touched on, but they're solid overall. I just want to like add that in there as like, you know, they're pretty easy to maneuver. The systems for driving can be adjusted, so if you don't understand how to do it, it's easy to learn. The specialists, so the abilities are, there's a bunch of them, right? So you have like your specialist like weapon type abilities where like you have like a healing gun, so you can shoot teammates like anywhere on the map with it that are like within your vicinity and hit them and then heal them up. And then you have like a arrow, so you have like a sparrow arrow where you shoot this bow and arrow across the map, and if you shoot it like a certain height, it'll go farther and it'll pretty much shoot out a wave like Vision Pulse from Black Ops 3 or the Ballista EM3 from COD Mobile, where it like emits that radius of people nearby and lights them up red. It'll do that, but it could do it for a large area over where you shot it. So it's pretty cool. There's also the usage of that in tutorials, so you'll be able to use it and actually see how that works in your extraction mode / operations mode tutorial. You'll use it there. That being said, attachments, I'll kind of get into this later, but you need a PhD or a doctorate degree to understand this attachment system. I'll actually dive deeper into that towards the end of the video, but that's insane. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, what are some of the things about this mode that I enjoy? I do like I feel like I'm getting a lot of kills, I'm in a lot of action. I feel like it's actually fun. I don't know, you know, I expect bots to be in here, so that kind of changes it up, but that's obviously a real guy right there. So you'll run into people who are actually shooting back, actually have some experience with the game, have been playing since it came out or whatever, or before then, so they kind of know what they're doing. I feel like it's fun, it's enjoyable. There's a lot to it, there's a lot to learn. There's also, it's made by Timmy, I believe, so those are the same people that sort of had a hand in COD Mobile. It's got a lot of paid things, right? So I would expect your microtransactions and things of that nature to be on par with that. Probably pretty insanely priced. None of them look too great compared to like Mythics and COD Mobile. None of them look anything like that. You know what I mean? They look like just normal gun skins. You know what I mean? Just like a normal red with white on it. There's not much reactive to it from what I've seen. So that's something I would expect to be in this game and be, you know, prevalent in that regard. Now, this is something I don't know how like the objectives work in this. So the actual flags are like points, and then like if they overwhelm that point, they'll start spawning there like immediately. And then you'll just be automatically pushed back to spawning at the next zone, and it'll open up for you to spawn there, right? So now I gotta spawn in section B, right out here in the middle of nowhere. This is fine. I think that's fine for the mode. I just feel like it didn't make sense at the time, because it's such a big map. I've never really been one to play, like, I don't know, Battlefield on like console. I've never played a lot of Battlefield, so I feel like it's kind of got that regard to it, where it's like, man, it's just huge. It's also kind of comparable to COD Mobile's Ground War skirmish mode, where it's very similar to this, right? There's objectives, and you got to capture those if you're on the capturing side. Or in that mode, you're actually capturing everything. But here, one team's clearly defending it, and one team's clearly capturing it. Even if it says, like, capture the objectives for both sides, I think when the game starts, for some reason, you're not actually, like, if you're on the side that I started on, you're pretty much defending these. And it's pretty tough. I will not lie. It is pretty tough to defend these objectives. It's, like, I just feel like they're constantly going in there over and over and over again. The bots, the AI bots, will absolutely hop on the objectives, so you got to be kind of aware of that. The AI isn't, like, super insane. I think Warzone Mobile's AI is a little crazier, where they, like, drop shot you and slide shot you and all this other crap. So here, they don't really do that. They just kind of run at you. They see you. They'll shoot at you. It's pretty simple. I do not know, like, meta weapons right now. I haven't really seen too much in regards to that. This import is the only real example I have of the TTK so far, because I've used it the most. It's pretty moderate. I feel like it's not fast, it's not slow. I don't feel like I'm, like, incinerating people like currently in COD Mobile with the USS-9 and the Odin. So I feel like that's solid. I think that's really good for a mobile game to have a little bit higher TTK, because a lot of them right now just seem like you get vaporized. That being said, ammo. Let's talk about ammo, man. So you can pick up ammo off any dead body. So that kind of encourages rushing, because, man, you will run out of ammo fast. I know you have like 160 bullets right now, and I have 45 in the mag. But, man, I feel like I am out of bullets all game long, and I'm just having to go get more bullets all the time. So, luckily, I feel like there's a abundance of places to get ammo from. It's just you need a couple of playthroughs to kind of learn where you got to go to get all this ammo, because the longer you're alive, the more you're going to need ammo, and you're going to constantly need ammo. So I think that's something that's been kind of addressed probably in their playthroughs of this game, because I could see them, like, having released this game and not thought about that at all. So it kind of seems like they added in a couple of features for that, and just the ability for everybody to have scavenger that you kill on the other team is definitely a plus. Now, one of the things about this game mode is that there's another game mode kind of called King of the Hill, I believe. That one I haven't played yet. I'll probably get into that maybe a little bit later. I'm just trying to figure out what the community sentiment is on this game. I've seen a bunch of mixed reviews so far, so I think some people are enjoying it, some people think it sucks, some people are in the middle. I do think, like, it's tough to compete with the mobile gaming space right now, because you have games like COD Mobile, which are just dominated and they're phenomenally made, and there's a lot of good things about those games, and then you're trying to release a new game to compete with that, and it's difficult. I think this game does look really good. Like, right now, you might be looking at this and you might not think it looks good. For a mobile game, and, like, in this space right now, I think it looks great. I'm surprised at how good it looks. Like, I'm on, like, low quality settings. Like, for me to be on low quality and it look like this, I feel like it's great. I don't know what it looks like on high quality. I imagine that would make my phone turn into a literal heater, so I haven't done that. Speaking of heater, here's the flamethrower. This thing sucks. I'm gonna keep it a buck, so don't ever use this. It takes forever to kill somebody. Like, it's not like you touch them once and they die. You gotta, like, lay into them and then they'll die. And you'll see me sort of show that here with the firing buttons are kind of odd, but you definitely gotta do some spraying with this thing. It takes a while. That being said, I feel like I've kind of covered a lot of the features about this game that I wanted to talk about. I haven't heard anybody talking in game in any of my games so far. I've been the only one to talk in game, so I would expect that to be the same. So feel free, if you and somebody else in this comment section are interested, drop your names and team up. That way you guys can actually talk and communicate, and that would actually make the game better. This healing mechanic I also think is great for this mode. Being able to go find a buddy and heal him up, that's really nice. I do enjoy that. I feel like that's a good thing to have, because you will die. You will die a lot. Yeah, whether it's by AI or by real people, you will do some dying. So just keep that in mind. You'll see me die throughout this gameplay. That being said, I feel like one of the other things I wanted to cover with this is, overall, is it fun? Yes, I would definitely suggest that if you're looking to mix it up, hop onto this. You'll definitely enjoy it. I think it's very replayable. There's a lot to do, a lot to learn, and overall, I think it's a fun game to sort of throw in the mix. So if people want to see content on it, I will happily make content. I definitely think I could play it more. These games are insanely long, so I don't know how that would work, but it's like 25 minutes for a Warfare game is expected. I would expect that. I had a game go 28 minutes. So this gameplay I cut short because it's so long, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like showing the whole game is absurd. Because 28's a long time, bro. That being said, I feel like I've covered a lot of the adjustments that they've made to this game from like when it originally like came out in like beta form. Like pretty much everything seems different. It feels like a really good game. I feel like it's great. Attachments, this is what I want to talk about, where you need your PhD to understand this. This is more complex than literally any other game, I think, on any platform. So you have 17, I believe. You have your optic, like all these different attachments, optic, stocks, guards, hand guards, barrels, hand rails, guard, like just so much shit. So with that being said, there's about 6 attachments at least for all of them. And then like there's a ton of optics, there's a ton of muzzles, there's a ton of grips. You know what I mean? So I don't know who's going to go through and explain all this stuff and which one's the best one to run. It will not be me. It will not be me. It's crazy. So if you are interested in this game, I definitely think you get super into it and sort of understand this sort of gunsmith like style and what's like best to run. This is just the base class right here that you have when you actually start the game. So that's why you're seeing me using it, because I haven't actually made another class. I've just been picking up other guns or things of that nature to use other weapons to see how they play. That being said, also your HUD changes when you go from mode to mode, so make sure you like save that. That's kind of annoying, so just keep that in mind. I think I've kind of covered everything. Overall, just my final thoughts to summarize this game. I think I will be playing it here and there. I don't know if I'll keep it downloaded on my phone forever, but if people want to see it, there's definitely a lot to see here and do in this game. There's a lot to experience. I think overall, it's pretty solid for a release. It's definitely a better release than Warzone Mobile. Even as somebody who tried to advocate for Warzone Mobile, like, hey, give it a chance. This game currently right now is better than Warzone Mobile. I do not think it's competing with COD Mobile though, so that's where I kind of put this game in terms of like how I titled this video. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on Delta Force if you've played it. And I appreciate the support on the channel. It's been your boy Marcus from Orsini. I'm out of here. Peace.